when my mother was in 62 years old, she had stroke, and then because her high blood pressure, she had a stroke, and also she was very busy the day before she had stroke. And right after she had a stroke, her whole right side was just paralyzed. So the hand was moving, the leg was moving, and then also her speech was just it was hard to hear or understand. And when she saw a bottle of plastic bottle, and then she said, "Oh, that's owan," which is like a wooden cup for Japanese, and so the speech was also kind of mixed up. My mother's diagnosis was stroke in the middle of her brain, and they couldn't do any surgery because of that was in middle of the brain. Right after she had a stroke, we called the ambulance, and then we went to the hospital. Right after that, in the room, our doctor told us, my mother will never able to hold a cup anymore. That's what he told us. Like that's gonna be end up like that. And then they wouldn't say what she will be like, but sounded like there was no hope for my mom. Well, my mom was always conscious about her health, and the first thing was like very shocking because she was health conscious person, and actually we knew about the Domen method before she had a stroke, so we knew she will walk again, even though our doctor said she will ever even hold a cup again. So we didn't really believe what he said. Well, because my doctors told us she could not able to hold a cup anymore, or he didn't even mention she will ever walk again. If we walk to the room to the doctors today, I think he might be saying that's impossible or that's just not real. I think that's something he would never think. When my mother had the stroke, that was January 9th. And then when we attended What to Do course, that was January 30th. So she was still in hospitalized. And I remember she was still in the bed, or she needed some help to move to wheelchair. And everything, like going bathroom or eating, she needed help from somebody. So she couldn't do anything by herself. That was my mom's condition when I attended the course. Before I attended the course, on the way to Kobe, I had to read this book, but because I didn't have time, so I was still reading this book in the train. And then when I look at this page, which is a story about the Sean, and he said like he couldn't feel warm or hot, cold, and it was exactly same as my mother. She wasn't feeling any hot or cold or any itchiness, nothing. So and I called my brother who was taking care of my mom in hospital, and then I told him, just make one hot and cold bucket. And then so he started doing that right after I called my mom. And 3 days after, my mom could feel bottom of her foot. So that was the first result we got. Even though like before we started taking course, we knew like one little thing. So that was the first thing we started. my mom was injured January 9th, and then she was in hospital for 2-3 months. So after that, we had to prepare, like we had to clean our room or house. So we made a space to do crawling. So the first thing we start was tactile. Even though she was in hospital, we did tactile on the bed, and maybe 5 to 10 times when she was still in hospital. And once we went back home, we started crawling. That's the next program we add. And we were doing 2 and 8 months for the program, and the result is huge. She couldn't move at first, but now she can walk for 30 minutes and non-stop, and she can eat by herself, she can do anything by herself, like she can take bath, she can change herself. So that's huge result. Well, the biggest challenge after my mom had the stroke, it's actually because my mother was taking care of my grandma, so I had to take care of grandma. Actually, that was harder than doing the program. So I was taking care of 2, mom and grandma, so that was the hardest. However, as a program, well, every day doing masking 5 minutes, non-stop, it wasn't easy, but it wasn't that tough because I knew she is improving. But 2014, or no, the end of 2013, we couldn't see much of result as used to be. Like when we started the program, we could see her improvement really quickly, but just slowly it's got slowed down. And then when we didn't see much result, that could be the tough time. Because of my age, most of my parents are like either had stroke or some kind of issue with their body, and those people who had those kind of parents, I would say, first thing, even though if your doctor said there is no hope, I wouldn't say don't give up, because there's always hope. And with this course, give us really big hope. And because we didn't really listen to the doctor, that's why we are here. And also, when my mom had stroke, I was working, and I was lucky because of our family could support us. So I quit the job, and then I'm doing 100% this program. But if you cannot quit the job, I think doing maybe an hour a day will help. And so just, because of the job or because of your parents' age, just don't give up, because age doesn't matter either. When I attended What to Do course, I knew, I learned my mother's cause was because of her brain. Mm-hmm. At the hospital, because her arm wasn't moving or her leg wasn't moving, so they were focusing on the leg or hands or her speech. And so they weren't focusing on her brain. So they were just stretching her arm or, try to write Japanese because of her poor speech. So they wasn't really focusing on brain. So if we didn't know about her cause's brain, that would make her huge difference, because we are not trying to cure where the source was. So that was really big thing we learned from this What to Do course. And that was really grateful to know what's causing her. Our neighbor, there is one guy, I think he had also stroke way before my mother had a stroke. And then he always walking with his cane. And so I think because he wanted to get back like where he was, but because he doesn't know his causing is because of his brain, so he is putting so much energy just walking. But like I feel so sad. If he knows what's causing him, will help him a lot. So I want people to know like this course, and then it's gonna help many people, and then just put same energy and same time. It's good to put into curing the actual place, not that their leg or not their hands. So that's, I hope not everybody know about this, and then it will change their life 100%.